Donald Trump says a controversial memo alleging FBI surveillance abuse totally vindicates him, but added the Russian witch hunt goes on and on. He approved Friday's release of the congressional memo which claimed the FBI and Department of Justice were biased against him while investigating alleged collusion between his 2016 election campaign and Russia. The U.S. president said the inquiry had found nothing and collusion was dead. This memo totally vindicates Trump in probe. But the Russian witch hunt goes on and on. There was no collusion and there was no obstruction, the word now used because, after 1 year of looking endlessly and finding nothing, collusion is dead. This is an American disgrace. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump, February 3, 2018. In the tweet posted on Saturday, he wrote, "This memo totally vindicates Trump in probe. But the Russian witch hunt goes on and on. There was no collusion and there was no obstruction, the word now used because, after 1 year of looking endlessly and finding nothing, collusion is dead. This is an American disgrace." The memo, drawn up by Republican politicians, claimed the FBI used unsubstantiated allegations by former British spy Christopher Steele to obtain a warrant to monitor a Trump campaign aide. Image. There has been speculation Mr. Wray could resign over the criticism of the FBI. It also alleged the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court was not told Mr. Steele was demonstrably anti-Trump and that the research was funded by the Clinton campaign. Following the document's release, FBI boss Christopher Wray backed his staff, promising to defend them after the Bureau was accused of being biased against the president. "You've all been through a lot in the past 9 months and I know it's often been unsettling, to say the least," he wrote. "And the past few days haven't done much to calm those waters. Let me be clear, I stand fully committed to our mission. I stand with you." Despite not referencing the memo of the president specifically, Mr. Wray told staff he was determined to defend your integrity and professionalism every day, adding, "Talk is cheap, the work you do is what will endure." Leading Democrats have warned of a constitutional crisis and told Mr. Trump not to use the memo as a means of disrupting and discrediting the Russia investigation. In a letter to the president, Democrats warned him against using the 4-page document as a pretext to sack Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, a special counsel Robert Mueller, who is overseeing the investigation. Firing Rod Rosenstein, DOJ Department of Justice leadership, or Bob Mueller could result in a constitutional crisis of the kind not seen since the Saturday Night Massacre, the Democrats wrote, referencing Richard Nixon's firing of the Watergate scandal prosecutor. The White House insisted there had been no discussions about firing Mr. Rosenstein. Video. Donald Trump attacks FBI with bias memo. The assurance comes despite reporters asking Mr. Trump on Friday if he had confidence in the Deputy Attorney General and the President replying, "You figure that one out." Speaking of the claims in the memo, Mr. Trump said a lot of people should be ashamed. "I think it's terrible," he said. "You want to know the truth? I think it's a disgrace. What's going on in this country? I think it's a disgrace." White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said the memo raises serious concerns about the integrity of decisions made at the highest levels of the Department of Justice and the FBI to use the government's most intrusive surveillance tools against American citizens. The FBI, DOJ and Democrats who say the memo uses cherry-picked classified details had all pushed to stop its release, saying it could harm national security. Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi accused Mr. Trump of sending his friend Putin a bouquet, calling it a desperate attempt to distract the American people from the truth about the Trump-Russia scandal. Image. Donald Trump approved the release of the secret memo on Friday. Sky News U.S. correspondent Cordelia Lynch said a big partisan political battle was brewing. "You now have the president at odds with the intelligence community, plowing ahead despite the FBI's grave concerns and some central allegations within this memo that Republicans believe prove that the FBI was biased," she said. Former FBI Director James Comey, who Mr. Trump fired in May, savaged the decision to release the memo. He tweeted, "That's it. Dishonest and misleading memo wrecked the House Intel Committee, destroyed trust with intelligence community, damaged relationship with FISA Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, and inexcusably exposed classified investigation of an American citizen. For what? DOJ FBI must keep doing their jobs."